Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining the Family Touches 19th year anniversary gala and our very first virtual gala. My name is Jay Yang, and I am one of the board members here at Family Touch, and I will be the MC for tonight. COVID-19 has changed all of our lives. Out of many things we felt, experienced, and learned, the COVID-19 has taught us the importance of our relationship with others, especially with our families. The theme of our gala this year is Connected. Through this gala, we hope to share with you how Family Touch has been supporting and helping families to develop healthy and intimate relationships since 2001. We welcome you and hope you enjoy the wonderful time that we're going to have together.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Joy Chung, founder and president of Family Touch. I really wish to see you in person like every year's gala. I miss all of you. But one good thing about the virtual gala is we can gather nationally and globally. We are all connected, near and far. How exciting is it? I'm so thrilled to present Family Touch's work to you, and I hope you can get to know more about Family Touch and find ways to get involved in. So many people are touched by Family Touch, even in the midst of COVID-19. I strongly encourage all of you to stay connected with Family Touch as we work together toward the brighter future for our families and communities. Enjoy our gala and may God bless you.
So the first time we heard about the Family Touch was in 2012 when Dr. Chung came to our church for the first time, and she was going to run an enrichment school for the couples. You know, we were initially hesitant because we didn't think we needed that program. We were pretty happy as a couple, but we thought, hey, why not? Let's take time to learn more.
When we started Family Touch, we have found there was a serious void in the social and educational services for children, youth, and families in the rapidly growing Asian American communities in the greater New York and New Jersey areas. We really wanted to be the leaders in this field in serving the community.
Family Touch's mission is to provide affordable educational programs and counseling services to immigrants and their families to build strong communities. We work toward our mission in three distinct ways: lowering barriers to access by a free or reduced fee for low-income families, impacting every single family member with the programs for all generations, teaching sustainable long-term skills through various educational classes.
커뮤니케이션 스킬을 배운 것이 참 너무 좋았었는데요. 좋은 예와 또 나쁜 예를 보여주시고 또 그거를 우리가 그 자리에서 직접 연습할 수 있게 그렇게 해주시고, 그리고 그거를 이제 더 나아가서 실생활 속에서도 배운 거를 그대로 할 수 있도록 그렇게 도와주셨던 게 너무 감사했어요.
패밀리 터치의 모토대로 행복한 가정의 길잡이라는 그 문구 그대로 가족 캠프 전과 후가 달라져 있는 모습을 볼 수 있습니다. 특별히 티네이저의 두 남자아이들이다 보니까 대화가 많이 적었었는데, 이 가족 캠프의 미션과 여러 가지 그 감사 노트를 통해서 충분한 대화를 나눌 수 있습니다.
My favorite part was making crafts with my siblings because as I got into high school and I had a busier schedule, I didn't really have a lot of time to just sit down and make things with my siblings, so it was nice to just have some quality time as a group.
I liked making the gratitude journal and writing down things we were thankful for every night.
Family Touch is different from other similar programs. Rather than giving superficial advice without any practicality, our evidence-based curriculum enables these families to craft long-term, healthy habits. Furthermore, we continue to connect with these families past the initial program. Our counseling services and educational programs that teach practical skills equips our family with the necessary skills to persevere through obstacles within the family and in their search for jobs. We have been so pleased through the years to see these programs affect not only individuals, but couples, families, and ultimately the greater community. This unprecedented season demonstrated the increased need to serve and the areas of improvement Family Touch can do. In an area of already low economic status, the pandemic put many families without a stable income. Furthermore, more families experience mental health issues, such as anxiety, fear, or depression, and broken family dynamics as tensions continue to rise. Family Touch is known for offering free or reduced fee programs for families with financial shortages. This pandemic increased the need to offer more of these programs.
Family Touch is planning to reopen New York branch office in 2021. We not only continue to serve in person and virtually, but also we increase our practice past the tri-state areas into the other part of North America.
Through this Family Touch, we believe that we have embarked on a new journey in restoring family and bringing them all together, where there will be love, peace, and hope. And we really want to continue to support Family Touch for their purpose for serving the needs of the communities.
Greetings, everyone. What a great pleasure it is for me to join you on this momentous occasion as we celebrate and recognize the tireless efforts and the enormous impact of Family Touch, an organization that truly lives up to its name, touching the lives of immigrant Korean families and doing it in culturally specific and culturally relevant ways. We know as Koreans we bring amazing strengths, including resilience. We are, after all, a small peninsula that's sought after by greater powers that be, and we were war-torn and poverty-stricken. Yet we arose, building amazing things out of almost nothing. We know immigrant life, though, is not an easy one. Those of us who have immigrated have been uprooted and displaced, separated from loved ones, cutting off ties. There's just no way to prepare for the immense disruption that accompanies immigration. And no matter how strong, how wealthy, how faithful you are, there are inevitable trials and challenges that mark our shared experience. The migration from Korea took place in 3 waves. The first wave was in the 1900s when the first ship of migratory workers from Korea arrived to the US, the island of Hawaii, to work on the sugar plantations. The second wave took place during the era of the Korean War in the 1950s. The third wave was during 1976 and 1990, when the Korean diaspora was by far the largest group of immigrants to move to the US, and they were immigrating for political and military and/or financial reasons. The impacts of war were harsh, and nearly 5 million people died in Korea. More than half of these, about 10% of the Korea's pre-war population, were civilians. And this rate of civilian casualties was higher than World War II's and that of the Vietnam War. So when people decided to immigrate, it wasn't a decision that was taken lightly. It meant that they would leave parts of their heart and carry unresolved grief and loss from cutting off ties. Never mind, they had already endured the aftermath of war. When you departed, you left with the expectation that you may never see your loved ones. And you usually left for one reason, for their future generations to taste food and enjoy what they themselves couldn't enjoy, for their children to study to their heart's content, and to have access to opportunities in life that they themselves were never able to touch or dream of. They had great dreams and they sought after the American dream. Upon landing in the United States, awaited a rude awakening where they immediately became mute and deaf. In the US, we're socialized to believe that someone's level of English equates their intelligence, their IQ. And though they were treated as if they were deaf and mute, in order to fulfill the promise of a better life they made to themselves and their children, they sacrificed, working themselves to the bone to provide 3 meals on the table. And their effort and their existence were often invisible, and wounds and disappointment begin to build in their hearts. Well, what about their 1.5 and 2.0 generation children? Multi-generational impacts of war are great. Research shows over and over again that societies that have endured catastrophic war show high levels of psychiatric symptomatology decades after the war. In the ways that we parent, in the unresolved grief that we pass down, begin to impact future generations, in the ways that we hide and conceal what we consider to be shameful. We know what's known as post-traumatic stress disorder exists well within those of us who are Korean descendants. We see many of the symptoms and we avoid talking about that trauma, which means that we can't quite heal from its wounds. And instead of proudly talking about our resilience, we tend to conceal those experiences. That Asian Americans, including Korean Americans, are 3 times less likely to seek mental health services than other Americans. There are many reasons for this. It's because culturally we believe that it's a sign of weakness to seek help, that it's a source of shame and dishonoring the family when we admit that we're struggling emotionally. And the greater American society tells us that as Asians and Asian Americans, that we really are the model minority and that we don't have any issues, that we shouldn't be struggling because we're perfect, we're hardworking, we care about family, and because of these values, we actually are quite successful. But it's such a myth. We know that we too struggle greatly with mental health issues. We find ourselves being stuck in between a myth that tells us we're perfect and recognizing, no, we're actually vulnerable because of our given histories, because of immigration where we try to fit into a host culture and are found wanting, because of our traumatic past of war and poverty. We're all impacted and we find ourselves burdened by pressure to succeed. And because we'd rather suffer than bring shame on our family and lose face, we end up suffering in isolation and in silence. But I'd like to share with everyone today that if you have a history of immigration, then of course you're struggling. If you have a history of war and poverty, just like all of us who are of Korean descent, of course we're struggling with trauma. Of course we're struggling with unresolved grief. And of course we're struggling with loss that we haven't named. But I'm really here to give hope because healing and restoration is possible. No, we can't do it alone. We need organizations like Family Touch that work with our families, that teach skills that we've never had the capacity or the luxury to learn. How to communicate beyond and through language barriers. How to work through the cultural gap and the cultural divide that exists between the East and the West. The intergenerational conflicts that exist between immigrant Korean parents and their 1.5 or 2.0 second generation Korean American children. especially at a time like this when we're fighting a global pandemic and having to adjust to these great demands. Can't do this work alone. It's time to rely on resources that can help. It's challenging work, and it can't be done without sacrifices. Organizations like Family Touch need the resources to be able to do what they can do so well, which is to bring in the shared histories, which is to bring in the cultural lens that helps us to understand our circumstances, to bring in multiple languages, and most importantly, to center its services on the voices and the experiences of the Korean immigrant family. As someone who shoulders a similar burden, I can tell you firsthand, it's not something that can be done without a true calling. We need more and more organizations like Family Touch to be more empowered, to be more equipped, the right people who can act as cultural brokers between the East and the West, between the first and second generations and third generations, to bridge that cultural divide. Family Touch, I personally want to thank you for the work that you do tirelessly for the Korean immigrant families. Thank you.
On behalf of Family Touch and the Board of Directors, we thank you for tuning into our 19th anniversary virtual gala. The year 2020 has been challenging for all of us in many different ways, and the pandemic continues to highlight the importance of connection and the need for a healthy relationship, healthy family. And it really validated the importance of Family Touch's mission to build and to strengthen family relationships through education and counseling. So we sincerely hope you'll continue to support and partner with us. You can follow the instructions on the screen to donate. So thank you once again and enjoy your evening.
안녕하세요. 저는 소프라노 홍혜란,
테너 최원휘입니다. 그리고 오늘 저희 연주를 빛내주실 피아니스트 김경희 씨를 여러분께 소개해드리겠습니다. 패밀리 터치 19주년 애니버서리 갈라를 축하드립니다. 힘든 시기에 저희들이 만나지는 못하지만 이렇게 버추얼 갈라를 통해서 여러분을 뵐 수 있고 또 저희가 노래로 참여할 수 있어서 굉장히 기쁘고 영광스럽게 생각하고 있습니다. 오늘 불러드릴 노래는 오페라 라트라비아테에 나오는 축배의 노래를 불러드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Libiamo degli lieti conici che la bellezza infiora e là fuggevol l'ora s'inebria voluta liviane dolci fremiti che suscita l'amore poiché quell'occhio al cuore onnipotente va. Libiamo amore, amor fra i conici più caldi baci avrà.
Tra voi saprò divenire mio giocondo, tutto è follia, follia nel mondo, ciò che non è piacer, godiam fugaciro, però il godio dell'amore, fior che nasce muore, e più si può cendita, fervida, cent'oro singhier, la vita e del demonio.
Quando non sami ancora
널 뒤척이리뇨라
e il mio destin così godiamo la tazza il cantico la lode bella e il riso in questo paradiso ne scopra i nuovoli ne scopra i ne scopra i
패밀리 터치가 지난 19년 동안 한인 사회를 위해 하신 일들을 생각하니까 이 세상이 조금은 더 밝아진 것 같습니다.
지금처럼 패밀리 터치가 많은 일들 또 좋은 일들을 해나갈 수 있도록 여러분의 지속적인 관심과 사랑이 필요합니다. 앞으로도 계속해서 많은 후원 부탁드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
상담을 통하여 제 마음의 상태를 알게 되었고 문제는 상대방이 아니라 저한테 있다는 것도 어렵지만 받아들이게 되었습니다. 남편도 상담을 통하여 본인의 상태를 받아들이고 노력하게 되면서 부부관계가 많이 좋아졌습니다. 이제는 상대방을 탓하기보다 먼저 자신들을 돌아보려고 애쓰고 있습니다.
Something that changed us was we were able to show more empathy toward one another and be able to understand each other in that way. And we were also able to put it to practice every week because the instructor basically gave us homework, which was very helpful for us. And it was amazing because we actually had those situations happen to us.
서로 마음을 더 잘 이해하고 공감하는 것 같아서 전에는 기분이 나빠질 수 있는 대화도 잘 해결되는 것 같아서 너무 좋았습니다.
세미나가 끝나고 나서도 지금은 남편이랑 대화하는 과정에 남편이 저희 말을 들을 때 좀 더 저희 입장에서 들어주는 것 같았고 저희 말을 많이 경청하고 공감하여 주는 노력을 하는 것 같아서 남편과 대화하는 시간이 너무 즐거워졌고 계속 남편과 대화하고 싶은 마음이 생긴 것 같습니다.
세미나 중에서 가장 기억에 남았던 강의는 아이 자긍심에 관한 강의였는데 저도 모르게 제 자녀에게 어느 때는 부정적인 언어로 깨진 거울을 보여줬다는 생각에 너무 미안한 마음이 들었고 아팠습니다. 그렇지만 이 자긍심도 부모에 의해서 후천적으로 더 회복될 수 있고 개발될 수 있다는 그 기쁜 소식에 제가 마음을 결단하고 조금씩 더 아이에게 긍정적인 언어로 자긍심을 키워줘야 되겠다는 생각을 하며 노력하게 되었습니다. 그 이후로 이 아이도 엄마한테 더 마음을 열고 자신의 생각이나 자신의 감정들을 엄마한테 솔직하게 더 표현하는 모습들을 더 보게 되었습니다.
One thing I enjoyed about this program was that we had many different activities. Through them we were able to know other family members and get better closer with our family members.
One thing I learned from family camp is to express gratitude and to never take anything for granted.
저희 패밀리 터치에서 수업을 받으면서 아이들과 어떻게 소통하고 양육하는 것이 바른지 그리고 부부간에 어떻게 대화하는 것이 좋은지 핵심을 잘 알려주셔서 도움이 많이 되었습니다. 감사합니다.
패밀리 터치 정말 강추합니다.
이 프로그램에 참여하면서 저는 늘 칭찬에 목말랐던 어린 시절이 저 자신을 만나서 보듬어주는 시간이 굉장히 좋았습니다. 그로 인해서 저희 자존감이 굉장히 많이 올라가기 시작하였습니다. 2년이 지난 지금은 가족들을 있는 그대로 받아들일 줄 알게 되었고 한계에 독립된 인간으로 존중해주기 되었습니다.
저희 가족은 패밀리 터치 가족 캠프에 참여하였습니다.
코로나 이후 같은 공간에 가족이 함께 있어도 함께 나눌 수 있는 것이 많이 없었는데 이 프로그램을 통해 가족들과 함께 즐거운 시간을 가지게 되었습니다.
캠프 이후에는 서로를 이해하려고 더 노력하게 되었고 말도 예쁘게 하려고 노력했고 그 다음에 서로 함께하는 시간이 전보다 늘어났습니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
My name is Miki Hyun, and I'm the new incoming chairperson of the board of directors. I am truly humbled and privileged to serve on this board. Thank you for this opportunity. This is a time like no other, and I'm so grateful that despite the COVID-19 pandemic, we have the technology to celebrate Family Touch and hold our gala. Thanks to this virtual gala, we're able to assemble with people around the country and globally, people who would otherwise never have been able to join us. I am pleased to share with you that during this difficult time of quarantine, we never let up. We were able to provide all of our services online. We have participants from all across the United States and have families joining us from Korea and Canada. More importantly, the demand for our services increased dramatically. This is a clear demonstration that Family Touch provides essential services to those in need. We are very thankful that Family Touch is truly touching people globally. I invite each of you to participate in supporting Family Touch. Your contributions make it possible for Family Touch to provide an entire range of invaluable guidances to the families and communities we serve. It provides our counselors and social workers the tools they need to help children develop healthy and positive self-esteem. It helps parents learn how to communicate with their children and couples with each other. Last but not least, it helps seniors feel secure within their families. Annual galas like this are very important to secure much-needed funds to continue our valuable work. So please, pledge whatever amount you can afford today. Finally, I want to let you know how glad I am that you could join us this evening. I hope this virtual kickoff connects us all so that together we can continue building our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking your time to be part of our gala tonight. So we're about to begin our second part of gala, where we're gonna have lots of fun activities and events, and you will have wonderful opportunities to win prizes as well. So stay tuned and enjoy.